All right, let's. Good Lord. Let me get this microphone set. Here we go. All right, 3, 2, 1. Something just fell off my desk. Don't know what that was. I guess I'm gonna have to do what you guys do, right? Is it baseball season yet? I'm kidding. Kind of. Maybe not. I don't know. Arkansas suffers their worst loss ever inside Bud Walton Arena to Auburn. I was going to do this as a call-in show, but I listen, call-in shows, I love doing them, but they can go for an hour and a half, 2 hours. I'm not feeling it. I don't know. Had this been a closer, more exciting game, maybe I would have done a call-in. This is just so disappointing. Boy, the fickle fans now, they absolutely have a reason to not give two shits about the rest of this season. Arkansas, and I'm not saying that this is the end of the world, right? I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know. That was the worst performance I have ever seen. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know that I saw Pelfrey or Mike Anderson. I don't know that I've ever seen anything like that. That was embarrassing. And I did say Arkansas would lose by double digits yesterday. I did. I'm not surprised Arkansas lost. No, I never thought Arkansas had a shot in this game. I did in Discord today about an hour before tip-off change my prediction. I said, well, maybe Auburn doesn't blow Arkansas out, but they win probably by, I think I said 8 points, because I felt like I underestimated the Bud Walton Arena, the crowd at Bud Walton. And Auburn completely took them out of the game. That was such a piss-poor performance. It's someone in Discord said, are we sure we want to talk about this? Fair point. I mean, I got a job to do. Maybe you don't have to. I got a job to do. I got sponsors who've paid for these spots. I want to do my part for Patreon supporters. I've got to produce content. But if there was ever a time where I was like, to hell with that, I don't want anything to do with that game, this is it. And I don't know that I've said that before in a Musselman era or ever. Horrible performance by Arkansas. And, again, you got to tip your cap to Auburn. I said yesterday on a power poll they're my number one team in the SEC. Today absolutely cemented that. While I don't believe you could take everything from a single game, I do believe in a body of work. Auburn has put in that body of work. They're legit. No, I did not think that it would be this bad at all. When I said lose by double digits, I thought 12 or 14 points. So I'm not even going to take credit for being right. I've been tagged. I've had people messaging me. I've had a DM, a couple DMs. I'm not even going to take credit. I did not see this. I don't think anybody, not even Auburn fans, SEC basketball fans, college basketball fans, I don't think anybody saw this coming. So, yeah, we're going to do that thing where we say at the moment, I say at the moment, when have they ever really looked this way other than the Purdue exhibition and maybe Duke? This is not a tournament team. That feels like the obvious. I know a lot of you guys will agree with that, and it is obvious. I'm usually not one to rush to judgment, but based on the hole that they've dug themselves into, they talked about it on the broadcast, and just some of their performances against some really bad teams. Guys, I don't know. I don't know how they get there. I really don't. Your net ranking is shit. The play on the floor was shit. Auburn is a good team. Now, we've also seen Bruce Pearl teams implode. We have. We've seen them start off really strong, and then they start to struggle. So who knows? Right now, that's the whole point of a power poll. Right now, I don't think there's a better team in the SEC. And they brought up a point, too, on the broadcast about how the SEC has some power inside, and Arkansas's presence in the paint is, oh, my God. I don't know what they're doing. Until they figure that out, until these guys wise up, until we start seeing smarter ball played around the rim, guys, I don't know. I don't even know if I can circle any wins for this team right now. Like, really, who the hell are they beating in the SEC? I mean, this league is so much more competitive than it's ever been. I'm not saying they're going to go winless, okay? And they might even upset somebody. But I don't know that this – I don't know how they get to the damn tournament. I don't know how they get there. I really don't. You just got blown out. And I don't agree that this was a must-win game. Way too early in the season. It's not like Arkansas didn't beat Duke, okay? It's not like they didn't have at least one decent win. It's not as if we haven't seen Musselman – find a way. They went sub 500 last year and still made the tournament in conference play. That's not going to happen this year. They can't go 8-10, especially now. They're not going to go 8-10 and have a shot at getting to the NCAA tournament. What a disappointing game. I did want to do a call-in show. I texted some friends of mine who some of them were like, "Yeah, I'm going to call in. I want to go crazy." And I'm like, I don't want to do an hour and a half post game on this. I don't want to do that. Some people in Discord thought, who wants to talk about this? Again, I got a job to do, so of course I want to talk about it. But I didn't get the vibe that anybody really wanted to talk about. Wanted to call in. And I get it. It was man. Some losses just like, ooh, that hurt, and then there's losses that just completely, I mean, it's not even a gut punch. It's like someone just walked up to you and told you that your mom and dad are divorced and walked away. Like they weren't trying to physically hurt you. They wanted to emotionally hurt you. Now, my parents aren't divorced. My mom passed away when I was real little, but just saying. Felt like they were going for the emotional reach. They're not interested in a 5-minute, ooh, my stomach, you punched me, you might have popped a rib. No. They wanted to hurt us long term, and that's what they did. Auburn came in here and just toyed with Arkansas in the second half. Yeah, if the NCAA tournament started tomorrow, I'd pick Auburn to go the farthest in postseason. Arkansas wouldn't even have a shot. Shout out to the sponsors. Listen. This is not how we want to do these shows, but it just kind of is what it is. Shout out to Patreon supporters. We got a lot going on. We are going to do giveaways. I don't have dates on those yet, but we are going to do giveaways. I'm thinking about doing one this month for people who are Patreon supporters in December. So keep in mind, just because you sign up today doesn't mean, boom, you're in the running, right? So what we're going to do is I want to reward the people who paid in on Patreon in December. So those people – I'm thinking about doing a giveaway. Again, don't have an exact date. It might be the last week of the month or the last week of this month, but we are going to do a giveaway. So if you want to be a part of next month's giveaway, you're going to need to sign up this month. You're going to want to sign up and make sure you're all paid in full and everything. But a special shout out. We killed it in the last month in Patreon. Just incredible. Direct service overhead, the Garage Door Company. They operate out of Central Arkansas and up here in Northwest Arkansas. Give them a call today. Same-day services, quality parts, affordable outcomes. They've got you covered, man. They got you. Hundreds of 5-star reviews. Their phone number is 501-244-3667. Again, that's that's Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. The Odd Soul Craft Bar and Pizzaria. Fantastic pies. Maybe you're in town. You're still in town. You came up here to watch this game. God bless you. You're staying somewhere around Fayetteville or Springdale, and you're in the mood for some good pizza and maybe an IPA or just whatever, a good cold drink in a fun environment. Odd Soul is it, man. Craft Bar Pizzeria, all located on Emma Street. Yeah, I almost feel like I should apologize on behalf of the Razorbacks. We can't do the, oh, God, it's so heavy. We can't even do the gold chain because Arkansas lost, so we only do these. Oh, it's so heavy. Hang on, let me put it down. Golly, shook the whole. That sucks. Right? Hero Blake says baseball should be good. We're still hurting from football. Then we watch this. PTSD just kicks in. Baseball is around the corner. I don't blame anybody for right now just not having anything to do with basketball. this has just been this is kind of what I was talking about yesterday. This team, when the best version of this team shows up, I do believe they can go toe-to-toe with anybody. The problem is that team just kind of, I don't know, it's random when they decide to show up. They showed up against Duke. Obviously, we always go back to the Purdue game. I know no one wants to talk about that because it was exhibition, but whatever. We did see a really good product on the floor. But that team doesn't show up enough, and I do think had that team showed up tonight, I think this would have been a far better game. I'm not saying that you win because I think Auburn is that good. I just don't have enough. I don't know. Johnny says Musselman would be a happier man if he quits chasing Devo around. All right, Johnny, bro. We'll see you later. Sorry, man. Can't do that. Can't do that here. We're not doing that. Arkansas slid a paper plate into half court, dropped their drawers, squatted down, and took a. Yeah, it had. Oh gosh, boy, you guys are getting animated. We just got humbled. Worst loss in the history of Bud Walton. Yep. Mr. Kicks 32 says, I'm used to getting let down, Ty. Not like this. I mean, not with basketball, not in the Musselman era. I mean, listen, going over numbers just seems kind of futile, but I'm going to. Auburn abused Arkansas like I've never seen anybody do. I mean, they peeled Arkansas. They peeled them like an onion. It was that easy. No tears involved. It was that easy for these guys. Just 7 turnovers. 5 steals, 5 blocks. They shot almost 49% from the floor. They were horrible in the first half shooting threes. I think they were one of something, 1 of 9, 1 of 10. And they kept they kind of kept throwing them up a little bit, but they ended up shooting 7 of 18 outside, so just about 39%. That's about 6% above their average. There was not a lot of fouls. There wasn't a lot of free throw shooting in this game, and that we know that's a key piece to what this team does, Arkansas anyways. Did I think there were some calls that should have been, there should have been a whistle? Sure, but again, that had nothing to do with this blowout. They shot 73%, not that it mattered. Free throws, this was just a game that didn't matter. Free throw shooting just did not matter. Auburn completely dominated Arkansas, fell just 2 points shy of their average, holding Arkansas to 51. Opposing teams average about 65 points a game, and Arkansas comes up 14 points shy. I don't know what the hell we just watched, and that's why I'm just – so I didn't see a point of a call-in show. It's 45 rebounds to Arkansas's 32. They got absolutely dominated on the boards. They went pretty deep into their bench. I don't know how many points they got off the bench. It feels like about 50. 51 points. 51 points. This was never a good matchup. Mennefield was 5 of 15. He did shoot pretty nice outside, 4 of 9. I mean, that's not bad. Then he goes 0 for 3 at the free throw line. Again, I know they don't matter, but whatever. Tremont Mark, 3 of 8. Graham, you get spurts of, wow, this guy could play offensive ball, and then he just, I don't know. 2 of 8 shooting for Graham, 4 points. Don't know why he started. Don't know what minutes did he get. What were his minutes? It felt like he had entirely too many minutes on the floor. He had 20. Okay, I would have guessed about 30. He had 20 minutes on the floor, just 4 points. He did have 6 boards. I mean, I like that. I mean, that's all right. Brazil didn't have a horrible game. 7 boards, 11 points, 5 of 9. He was 1 for 5 outside. He just kept so many ill-advised shots. And second half, they just looked like they weren't there to play ball. I mean, they weren't there. They weren't playing ball in the second half. you know, just so disappointing. 6 of 13 on layups. They were 3 for 3 on dunks. I thought they missed one. The stat sheet, the Razorback stat sheet says they did go 3 for 3. They did have it look like, they were starting off pretty good there. They went on an 8-0 run in the first half. And it looked like, okay, this team, all right, okay, here we go. We're going to get something going. In fact, they started off slow. Arkansas starts off 0 for 5 shooting. They were 0 for 3 outside off those 5 attempts. We had 2 monitor visits in the first 3 minutes of play. Really, really just did not help the pacing of the game with those monitor visits. Hogs' first points was a 3 by Brazil at the 16:38 mark, if I got that down right. Hogs do go on an 8-0 run to make up for the slow start. And it started, it was the back-to-back threes by Minifield, and then an assist by Minifield to Brazil off a dunk. So you get these instances in a game where it's like this team could play ball. They're capable. Against high-quality opponents, they're capable. And then they just vanish. Again, you got to give Bruce Pearl a lot of credit. I mean, he definitely knew with his freshman point guard, he had to quieten the crowd, and he had to take these guys out of the game, or take the crowd out of the game. He did exactly that. They'll beat you. Auburn will beat you in a number of different ways, and tonight it was like Arkansas couldn't help themselves. The Razorbacks end up shooting 31%, 18 of 58, 7 of 24. They made 7 threes. I mean, that was a bit surprising. 8 of 15, 53% at the free throw line. 7 offensive boards, 25 defensive, totaling at 32 total boards. Just 8 assists, 13 turnovers. Minifield did end up with 4 assists in this game, 14 points. So Minifield still played a pretty good game. I mean, all in all, he vanished. I mean, again, he had 8 points, I think, in the first half. So didn't exactly have a superb scoring second half. Just got to give Auburn credit. I mean, they figured out, they played zone. They're not a heavy zone team. They played zone and completely stopped Arkansas. I don't know if maybe Auburn was doing some things Arkansas just didn't see on film. I don't know. Again, they're not a conventional. They're mostly a man defense. They played really good zone. But, that's everybody. Everybody plays a high level of zone defense against Arkansas because they're horrible against the zone. I'm surprised they didn't have more shot clock violations tonight. Did they have one? I don't think they had one. I don't know how they only ranked 25. Well, some of that probably their scheduling. But, yeah, they definitely – they look like a top 5 team tonight. And, again, a lot of it was self-inflicted. Is Auburn really that much better than Arkansas? I don't think so. I'm not saying that they still shouldn't have won by double digits, but 30-plus points? No. I don't think they're that much better. Shit-tastic performance. Shit-tastic performance by the Arkansas Razorbacks. This is going to be one that's going to be hard to shake off. They better because they got to turn around. They got more ball to play. You're in that part of the year now. You don't get a week. You don't get 6-7 days to think about it. Now you got to turn around in just a few days and play Georgia at Georgia, who, by the way, is 11-3 on the season. They went on the road and they beat Missouri. I get it. Missouri's also not playing. I thought Missouri would be. I'm not saying I thought they'd be good, but I thought they'd be better than what they've looked like. I've watched them a little bit this year. They do not look like a good team. But Georgia just went on the road and beat Missouri 75-68. They went on the road and they beat Florida State. They played Miami. Now, that was a game I caught the highlights. I didn't watch the whole game. And it was back and forth in the first half, and Miami pulled away pretty easily in the second half. But Georgia's going to be tough. Again, this is what I'm talking about. I don't know where their first win. When is their first conference win? When is it? You got at Georgia, at Florida. You're going to host A&M. A&M's also not off to an elite start. Exactly. You're at home against South Carolina. South Carolina's playing a really good level of ball. You're back on the road against Ole Miss, who I don't think will be ranked by the time Arkansas gets there, but I do think they're a pretty good team. I don't know where their first conference win is. They're going to have to get an upset along the way. It feels like anybody they beat at this point would be considered an upset. I just cannot believe how horrible they played today. I mean, when have they ever scored under 60 points? Even Musselman, who's not known for offense, when have they ever been held to under 60 points at home under Musselman? Just embarrassing. I don't know. I wonder how much the 7 days off between games hurts them. Musselman talks about the way they practice, they make up for that. Maybe it did play a bigger role. Again, they're so much better than what we saw today. I believe that. I mean, again, we have seen that at times. It's just really hard to admit right now because it's easy to say, well, they're a horrible team, Ty. They're a horrible team. Right now, the level that they're playing at, yeah, I mean, the way they looked today, they looked atrocious. That was Sam Pittman level bad. Like that was 2023 Arkansas football level bad today, if we want to compare apples and oranges. Ty, do you know the looks I get up here in Virginia rocking my Razorback gear? You can hear the chuckles when you walk by. They make it even harder, especially after this loss. I will hold my head up high. I think everyone should. I mean, I know there's some folks out there who'll say, well, I don't let college athletes, I don't let kids let me down this hard. Bullshit. Everyone in the state of Arkansas felt this one. And it's as much about Auburn as it was Arkansas's play on the floor. I thought being an older team this year, they would show me some maturity. They would show some maturity. These dudes gave up fairly early in the second half. I agree with that. MB, I agree 110%. And that's the other thing. I've not seen a team let go of the rope like that under Musselman. The reputation they have is that they're going to play you no matter if it's a blowout or not. They're going to play you until that clock reads all zeros. And I don't know. That's a very troubling sign. Maybe this team will benefit from the the Saturday to Tuesday, Saturday to Wednesday scheduling now. Maybe they'll benefit from that. But if they play anywhere close to the way they did tonight, they're not winning. I don't know when the hell they're going to win an SEC game. It was just horrible. Auburn is peaking early like always. Yeah, and like I said, Bruce Pearl, I mean, it wouldn't be unheard of to see Auburn then fall flat on their face. But I always look at teams the way they're playing, like, what have you shown me lately? That means like in the last 6-7 games, right? Like that, that doesn't mean they're going to play this well in March or in February. Should have hammered Auburn the -2.5. Didn't think we would see a loss worse than Oklahoma. I agree. Pigpen, I agree. And so, again, you kind of look back on their struggles on the year and you think, all right, those are relevant now. I mean, you get it now. Like, you understand the horrible first half against a lesser opponent. You understand the loss now. Like, it's starting to make sense. Their defense isn't great. I mean, that's probably the most obvious thing in the world to say. But then you looked at the opposing team like, oh, well, that's a really good offense. I mean, they played really good back-to-back offensive teams. There's just no reason. There's no reason to give up what they did in their last matchup and then tonight. There's no reason for that to happen. There's no reason to be blown out at home like that. I don't care how good Auburn is. There was just no pride in that team tonight. There was no pride. There was no fight. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. I do appreciate you guys for being here. I hadn't put it on Muss until today. We clearly are overmatched inside, and we clearly have selfish behavior on the floor when it should have been bench Devo. Charles Harper. Ty, I mentioned a few weeks ago, time to panic. That the time to panic, this team is not responding to Muss coaching. This team is too talented to lose this way. It's all about coaching. Devo should be benched. I'm not liking the technicals. I'm not liking the fouls. Or the silly behavior that we've seen from these guys on the floor. I'm not digging it. I'm just not. It just looks like a lack of discipline. This feels like the most disconnected Musselman has ever been to a team, if that makes sense. This is the most I've ever seen a team where I don't know. It almost feels like he's mentally maybe he's kind of checked out a little bit. And I'm not making an excuse. I think he realizes, I think he knows this there's a lot of trouble with this team. This just feels like he's moved on. I don't know. It does. I know that's probably not the case, but I don't like the word vibe, but that's kind of what it feels like at times with him this year. And that's probably just him in his own mind acknowledging that, you know what, this is not the team. I don't know what I can do with this team. You know, you always look at, you know, as a coach, you probably look at your team as as clay, and you got to mold that team. You know, that ball of clay, you got to mold it, and maybe he feels like he can't mold this team, and maybe that's why. And he's kind of given off. Like if you listen to him talk to the media, not like he's ever been super friendly with the media after a loss, but he just seems more disconnected. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only one kind of feeling that. I'm certainly feeling it. It's very similar to when questions were asked to Pittman about his offensive line, and you knew there was an issue there with the offensive line, and he didn't want to talk about it, but you knew there was something there. There was kind of a disconnect with what was going on up front on his offensive line, even though maybe he was in denial. Muss is definitely not in denial, but it's that same thing where I don't know. I don't even want to talk about the odds of getting to I don't even want to talk about tournament play. I mean, you don't want to overreact too much, but I just don't know. I mean, based on what we've seen, you've already dug yourself into a really deep hole, and this team defensively has shown no signs of life. They don't guard around the iron well at all. They get lost constantly down in the paint. You don't feel like there's anyone they can come off the bench and help. You don't feel confident that you can just pull someone off the bench and here comes great defensive play down low in the paint. One of your bigs, you don't feel confident that anybody can play good on both ends of the floor. You know, Brazil has his moments. We know he can alter shots and he can block shots, but he is, I don't know, defensively, I don't know what's up with him either. I don't know. We will be 500 in the regular season. You think they go 9-9? I hope that they can. Maybe that rhythm of again Saturday, Wednesday will actually do them some good. Maybe that's an advantage for them. Maybe this is a team that's going to feed off that and they could turn this thing around. But man, tonight just doesn't give you a whole lot of hope. You can't let one game does not destroy a season. But again, it's about what have you done for me lately? And what we saw in non-conference play was what? Inconsistency, you know. But the one thing they were consistent at was not great defensive basketball, poor perimeter play. You know, and it's still there. It's still mostly there. It doesn't look like there's been any fix. So, I don't know. Again, it's just very disappointing. Blocker needs to take Devo's minutes. And he plays hard defense. Yeah, I think Blocker has. I agree. Devo's defense. Someone brought up in Discord. I don't ever, but whether or not maybe he's gained some weight. Maybe trying to put on some muscle and it's slowed him down. He just looks so slow. And he also looks lost, especially out in the perimeter. Like he's getting beat off the dribble. Now I'm gonna have to go back and I don't know if I want to watch this again. I'm gonna have to go. I do need to go back and maybe watch a little bit more of this game just to kind of get a feel for what was going on. I felt like for a while, their defense did start to clamp down a little bit. They started to play a little bit more aggressive. It looked like, Auburn was just chucking up shots outside, and they weren't making anything. I mean, they also started off really cold, and I think some of that is a testament to Arkansas's defense early on. Also, just no shots were falling for Auburn. And, does anyone deserve a little bit of credit for that, right? But I don't know if I can bring myself to watching that bullshit again. I don't know. This is what happens when you don't develop talent. You rely too much on transfers who don't know your culture. Building a program requires more than just bringing in plug-and-play players. Trash, says Woo Pig Podcast. What's up, Woo Pig Pod? How you doing? There's something to be said about guys who stick it out and who stay and are developed. That's not a part of the game anymore. Now, it's worked for Musselman. It has. Let's not pretend like, he did go on some 3 straight Sweet 16 runs, back-to-back Elite Eights, all that stuff. But there's one thing that we know, and we see teams do this to go deep into the tournament. They either have a lot of older experience or they have guys who played and matured and developed together. That's not at all what this team really is. Brazil didn't play a whole lot last year. Him and Diva, you can make the comment, him and Diva, Opinion's back, okay? Opinion didn't play much last year. There's no, there's no development when you're having to, or I should say, it's a different kind of microwave, instant fix development versus just the natural, organic development that happens when you bring guys back who come in as freshmen and they're here for their freshman year. Maybe they play a little bit, and then they come into their sophomore year, and they're getting better, and they're building, and they're learning, and they're getting to experience conference play and going and traveling. There's so much to it. And then you just bring in guys. Well, he was a great scorer. Look what he did here, and look what this guy did out here in the East. Look what he did. And you're pulling these guys. It's just not the same. Clearly teams have made that work. But I think this just goes to show you it's even more of a dice roll, and it doesn't help that. Last year you had guys that they may have been freshmen, but they were McDonald's All-American teammates. They were. In communication throughout the offseason, they were brought in. There was that build-up. You kind of knew who was gonna sign. Other than, I know there was the Nick Smith stuff, but there was a little bit of something there. And then they brought in, and you had some guys that returned. Devo was back again, and you were able to kind of build that team, and you're able to eventually figure it out, despite having a piss poor regular season, going 8-10, finishing sub 500. There's just something about that. There's something about being able, you're not cooking in the microwave, you're cooking in the oven. There's just something to that in sports, and especially I think in basketball. Football, it's you can't compare all the different sports, and time spent together is different. The amount of practicing, all this stuff matters. How many people on a roster, the bigger the roster, it so many teams are faced with that now. Well, we got a super chat. Keytron Clark, what's up, man? I don't know that I recognize your name. They let everyone know. Let's see. I'm sorry. They let everyone go to the paint every time. They let anyone get to the paint. No paint defense. I'm pissed. Yeah, their defensive play around the rim is awful. It's so bad. I've never seen. I never would have thought they would be this bad around the rim. I figured, look, okay, maybe perimeter play, maybe they'll get that fixed. Maybe they have a little bit because it's not like Auburn went 10 of 20 tonight, right? But maybe they can fix perimeter, and they're just going to be a team that's going to be suspect in the paint. I don't know, based again on recent games, recent development, that I don't know that they're going to get anything fixed. And when you're that bad, when it's so easy to dribble drive to the rim on Arkansas, whether it's a backdoor cutter, just overall post play, it's not hard for teams to score there. It's just not. And with Brazil back, with Lawson, with Mitchell back, I just didn't think it would be this easy, and it is. It's too easy. It's just too easy. Maybe the 2 days wore their legs out. Perhaps they need rest. Well, that's on the staff then, because they had plenty of time to rest these guys. and get them ready for this game. I really hope baseball meets our expectations. I work with LSU fans. Oh, God, Ross. Oh, my God, I feel sorry for you, man. I work with LSU fans, and they seem to be rotating natties in all their sports each year. Ross, that's nothing new. That's nothing new for them boys down there. It's nothing new for them. They don't have – Patrick Smith says they don't have a big that plays aggressive enough in the paint. Well, their transition defense still, I don't know. There were times when there were certain things that looked like, okay, maybe they're going to be better here tonight. Maybe we're going to get better play here, especially with Minifield on the floor, how quickly he gets up and down, how quickly he moves up and down the floor with his ability to feed. I thought maybe their transition to offense is going to get better. They do play better in movement. When their offense is moving, when they're moving – and they're using a little bit of momentum out of transition, man, they can be tough. They can be a tough team to deal with. Auburn just completely took them out of it and then just took their souls. I don't know. Man-to-man, leaving open lanes, zone is where it's at. We have to stop the delusion that Arkansas is going to figure it out every year. This might be the year that we don't get it done. I know no one wants to hear that, but I'm just keeping it real. They definitely seemed tired. A lot of air balls. They did have a lot of air balls. They did. Arkansas, I think I counted 3 or 4. You're not wrong. Dat Trickster 420. God, I love reading some of these names. Yes, Rob, a bad dream that started in September, says Sean. Uh-oh. Did L. Ellis just completely – I can't read the rest of that because there's a heart emoji in the way. I can't read it. I'll come back to that, Tercer. Yeah, don't forget, if you want to get in on these Patreon on the giveaways, you need to be signed up, and then that giveaway will be for the next month. So if you want to join Patreon, we are following the transfer portal stuff. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was caught completely off guard with that defensive end that committed while we were live. Last week was I was kind of swamped here at home. That one just went right by me. It came out of nowhere. People were telling me in Discord, they thought it was pretty funny that my reaction to that guy's commitment. I had no idea, bro. I saw I'd seen the name before. The transfer portal, man, it's a son of a bitch. It's just moves. There's stuff happening all the time. This is a group of individuals and not a team, says I'm Athema. It shows on the defense and the lack of assists. They don't play together, and the individual effort is atrocious. General lack of hustle in this group. Yeah, we've talked about that before, how this does feel like a team full of eyes. Team full of eyes. They don't run a disciplined offense. Well, that's the MO, right? And Musselman will live or die with man-to-man defense. Please play some zones, says Razorback 64. All right. There's just really not a whole lot. Pigpen says dribble, pass, shoot. Well, I've said before what they do is they dribble, pass, dribble, up, open shot, take it, or it's the other way, dribble, shot clock down inside 8 seconds, panic, pass, shot clock at 3, and then a bullshit shot that is not going to go in. Definitely need to join Patreon. Oh, what's up, Haas? We do our own crystal balls on recruits. Some of us don't miss. All kinds of information in Patreon. Yeah. Oh, we got you. We got the link for you twice down there in the chat. Appreciate you, John Haas. He's a real one. Appreciate it when the mods come through and chat. Love it when the mods come through and chat. Yeah. All right. So I listen. I don't even want to watch any basketball tonight. I'm just so disappointed with this. Just makes me not want to watch basketball. I was gonna watch some games tonight. I don't know. I may just play some video games. Let me play Baldur's Gate 3. Got to take my mind off what we saw tonight. That was complete horse shit. Musselman's post-game press conference was about 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Well, I'm going to go watch it. That's probably what I'll do next. So that's it. Again, shout out to the sponsors, Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company, and, of course, Odd Soul Craft Bar Pizzeria located on Emma Street in Springdale. Let's hope Arkansas can get this thing figured out. Like someone said in chat, it's not a given that that's what's going to happen. This is, I don't know. But make sure you guys, hey, just because you're mad at the Razorbacks, you can still support your boy. Go join Patreon. We crushed it in Patreon this last month. Maybe Arkansas basketball and football wants to take the year off. We're not. You know who I give this MVP? I'm going to wear this on behalf of the Patreon supporters. That's what I'm going to do. Oh, that hit my tooth. Oh. Just got smacked in the face by my own totally real gold chain. I'm wearing this on your behalf. In December, we killed it. That's who's getting this gold chain. God dang. All right, I'll see you guys. Hope I didn't chip a tooth. I'll see you guys on probably Monday. All right. Y'all be good. Have a good rest of your weekend.